So let's go to Azure DevOps organization from the portal. Choose your organization, go to your project. So in the last class, we created this project. Okay, we have seen everything about boards. Now we'll come to repos. So in the repos, we have seen how we can push in the code from the local or how we can pull the code or fetch the repository from remote to the local repository. Okay, or how we can import a code from a third repository to our Azure repos. These things we have seen in the last class. Today we'll working with Git, how using Git we can make changes in the files, how we can push those files to the Azure repos, how we can work with branches, okay, branching strategy basically, uh, the branch policies, branch settings, everything we'll see. Okay. So this was our project, and this is the, you can say, the source code basically which we have imported from the lab, or you can say that project eShop, right, which is an e-commerce project. So what we'll do to make changes, first we'll be pulling this repository into our local. So click on clone in VS Code. Clone in VS Code. So you can clone from here, or you can directly open VS Code, Visual Studio Code. First you have to download it. So you can download VS Code from, search for Visual Studio Code download. Click on Visual Studio Code and download for your operating system. Suppose you have Windows 10 or 11, you can download it from here. You have a Linux VM, you can download from this. So whatever distribution of Linux you have, accordingly you can download. For Red Hat, Fedora, or Sushi Linux, you can download this one. For Debian or Ubuntu, you can download this one. For Mac operating systems, you can download this one. So in this way, you can download the Visual Studio Code from here. Once it is downloaded, install it. After installing, you can clone your repository with the VS Code. So open Visual Studio Code. This is our Visual Studio Code here. We'll open a terminal here. I'll start up a new terminal here. So from here, you can change the shell. As of now, you can see I have selected a PowerShell. Okay, you can change this shell. So this is step by step, like directly from, if you directly clone with VS Code, it will be directly coming into and downloaded into your local, and it will open with the VS Code. But suppose you want to work directly with the VS Code, then you can directly open the VS Code and you can run some commands here. So first, what you have to do, git config. You can check git hyphen hyphen version. What is the version? Okay. Okay. So 2.42.0, that is the version of the git here. Okay.
Abhishek
Mm-hmm.
is installed uh, in the Visual Studio only as
Visual Studio will be coming in with installed from it will be coming in with installed with different technologies and like you can say tools and all. Okay. So while installation, it will ask you, okay, what you need. So you can choose accordingly. Or there will be a default pack. In that default pack, Git will already be there. Okay, because this is a developer's integrated development environment, and definitely it will be having Git with it. Without Git, no one will be able to work. Okay, so so you can run Git config hyphen hyphen global credential dot helper. So in the Windows credential, WinCred, okay, we'll be storing the global credentials. That's why I run this command. Now git config hyphen hyphen global. So in the credentials, we have the username first. So we'll be using user dot name. The credential. This is the username. This is the username. Now we'll be putting in user email actually. Instead of user email, we can take here user dot email, and you can mention the email. We'll copy this URL in the HTTPS option. Go to Visual Studio. From the view, you can select command palette. Once the command palette is open, you can see git clone here. Use that. Provide the URL over here. It will ask you for a destination. You can choose any. So I'll create a folder here. Suppose eShop on web is a folder. So Git credential manager will open. You can use the account. Okay. Now you can see this. We have downloaded the repository in our local. If you go back to your C drive, then you might be able to see this. This is your repository. All the files are in local now. Now we'll see how we can save our work or how developers work with the changes in the files or how they commit it. So suppose developers will be working on the source code mostly. So they will be going to the source folder. Inside the source folder, what project we have? We have kind of a web project, web app. Okay, web project. Go inside web, inside source, inside web. So there are files, constant.cs, program.cs. These are some files, suppose project file, source code. Select that source code. Suppose developer is making some change over here. Okay. So any change, we'll be using comments actually, since most of us are not developers. Okay. So we'll make a change, but we'll make comments. Okay. So this is how you make a comment in .NET. So I can write like my first comment or change anything. You can write anything, okay? Press Control S to save this file. Now, as soon as I press Control S, you can see on the left hand side, a notification of 1 appears over here. So this says that 1 pending changes, means you have saved the file, but it has not been committed to Git. Changes are being made in the file, but it has not been committed to Git. So what you need to do? You need to commit it. So if you click on here, is the source control tab. Okay. If you click on here, what it says, click on commit. Okay. So if you remember in the last to last class, when we pushed that local code, we entered all the commands manually mostly. Okay. There was no UI or there was no integrated development environment. But when you work with the integrated development environment, most of the things you will be like most of the controls are in the UI. Okay. So as soon as you press here, you just need to provide that commit message and click on commit. That's it. So for example, you commit like my commit like this, my commit, and click on commit. So that one which was there as a notification gone away, right? Because the commit has been done. Now this commit has been done to local. Local means this repository, this local repository. We have done commit here in the local repository. So what it says, sync the changes. It says sync the changes. So where we will be syncing? To the remote repo. Where we will be syncing? Here to the remote repo. Since we made changes in the local, now we will be syncing it. There is one more option here. Apart from this sync change option, if you go down here, you can see there is a circle kind of thing. So if you place a cursor on circle kind of thing, so it will show like 0 and 1, 0 and this downwards arrow. That means push one commit to origin or main. Origin means always the remote repository will be considered as origin. See how you worked. You downloaded the code from the remote repository to your local. So what becomes origin? Origin becomes your remote repository. Every time you will be pulling in the code from the remote repository or fetching the repository, that means that remote repository is the origin. What you did, you pulled that repository to your local and you make changes, you committed. So that's why it is showing 0 as of now. 0 and down arrow. That means 0 means for local repository. Local repository is being committed. Okay. So push it. Push it to the origin. Origin means remote repository. Okay. Or you can sync the changes. So one change is there. You can push it to the remote repository. So what you need to do? You can sync the changes here. So now you can see it is moving. Authentication.
Abhishek, I think this is in private repository or public repository.
No, this is private only.
That's why it is asking
You
authentication.
you will never create any public repository in your organization. Repository will always be private only. Something. Okay. So commit has been synced with the remote repo now. If you see here, there are no symbols left out. Synchronization is completed now. Okay. It was due to that it was taking wrong credentials or reading wrong credentials after editing the credential in the Windows credential manager. Okay. It pushed the changes. So now if you go to the remote repo here and check the same file, source, web, and that was program.cs. You can see that we have pushed that particular change into the file to the remote repository. We made changes in the local, saved the commit, okay, and pushed it to the remote repository. This is a simple like change you will perform in a file or any file you want to make changes. You can pull the repository into your local, or what you can do, you can fetch the repository in your local. So your local repository will be in sync with the remote repository. Then you can make changes in any of the file, commit it, and push it.
Um, but Abhishek, working in a GitHub in a terminal will be just the pushing steps may be the different. Like we need to clone it, we need to add it, and like those many things are there. But
So what
in
we
the
did now.
UI,
Mhm.
in UI we can just clone it and sync it, like make the changes and sync it. Like
Mhm.
uh, and we're skipping the steps, right? Like in the GitHub, we add it, in Git add, or like it will add what are the changes we made it. But
Mhm.
here, those steps are not there. Maybe that's
So, but like nowadays, most like 95% we are using Visual Studio and Visual Studio 2022 now. So like what it does, it saves your time mostly. Okay. By running manual command, like what we created with our local project, everything we did manually, like pushing everything manually or cloning and or doing this. Okay. This saves a lot of time actually.
Yeah. Correct.
And these are valid tools. These are company valid tools. Okay. Visual Studio and all. Most of the developers you will see, they will be working on this only, Visual Studio.
And one more thing, Abhishek, like if we commit 2, 3 commits, and I want to push only one or
That
two
I'm coming
commits.
to
Can you
next
show?
step. Next step. It's the next step. I'm coming to it. Okay. Hello. You are speaking in mute.
Yeah, yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Okay. So here also you can see in the commit section, if you see in the commit section, is the my commit, what commit message we have given locally. The same commit message will appear over here. The other commits might be done by that Microsoft team only who are building this project. Okay. So from those, these are all commits here. Now let me go back. We'll see number if we make number of changes, okay, at a time, and then we push it, or you can choose what you want to push. Just now, like what question you have asked. So that is known as staging the changes actually. That is known as staging the changes. So let's again go to that program.cs file. I'll go to Explorer, program.cs file, and I change this my first change. Instead of first, I'll do second, my second change, and I'll save it. I'll save the file. I'll again go to second file without committing it. Okay. Now you can see this one notification appeared over here. I'll go to constant.cs file, and in the constant.cs file, again, you perform one more change here. Suppose you say my third change, and again you save it. Now, here if you see in the source control, there are two entries now, constant.cs file and program.cs file. So what you can do here, if you want to selectively commit on push, you want to selectively commit and push. So there's a plus sign at the right hand side. Here you can see plus sign is there. So suppose we want to push only program.cs file. Okay. So what we can do, we can push it here. Okay. We'll click on this plus sign. So what we did, we staged this. Now, whatever message we will put over here, suppose added comments or commit. Okay. And select commit, and you can see commit staged option. So now only that commit has pushed to the local source control. And if you can see here, If you sync the changes, only the commit which we have done in program.cs file, only that commit will be pushed. So if you click on this, so that constant CS file change is still there. And that one notification is still there. Earlier it was two here. So out of two, selective commit we have done. That means we have selected program.cs and that we have committed and that we have synchronized with the remote repository. Now, if you go here again, choose source code, web, and program.cs file. You can see my second change has been pushed over here. And if you see constant.cs file, nothing has been pushed. Since we only saved that change and did nothing after that. If you come to commits, so see edit comments, whatever we did for program.cs file. But there is nothing about constant.cs file since we did not push that. Okay. So this is how you can stage a commit. Staging means if you have done multiple changes in multiple files and if you want to selectively push. So what you can, there will be different add symbols over here. So whatever you want to commit it, just click on add button, this add button. And once you push that add button, there will be a stage coming in here. And inside that stage, all the changes which you want to commit will be added. And the other ones which you have not added will be under changes only. So there will be two stages here. Okay. And then you enter a commit message. And as soon as you as soon as you go on this ellipsis symbol and commit, and inside commit you select stage commit stage. That means whatever is under stage, all those will be committed only. Okay. And whatever is under changes will not get committed. So this is how you selectively commit some files here.
So Abhishek, for YAML file changes also we can do here, right?
Anything.
Okay.
Definitely you will be doing it for ARM templates and YAML files only because you will not touch the source code. That is out of your scope, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
you will
So,
only be
yeah,
making changes into infra files only.
correct. So,
Yeah.
if suppose we are working in any startup and they tell us to create a YAML file from scratch,
Hmm.
so this tool is helpful, or from UI only we will create?
See, mostly you can create it from assistant. There is an assistant actually. So
Mhm.
to learn,
Correct.
there is an assistant over there in the Azure pipelines. So to learn first, you will be working it with assistant. Once you create some files, you can save it and then you can make small changes according to the project, okay, into the same file,
Okay.
and you can work with that
Okay.
file. So you
Okay.
can maintain that file, YAML file, where in the source control, right? With the Git.
Right.
You can maintain
Mhm.
it and later on you can use it for other purposes as well. So for the first time, you need to take care with the assistant or anything. And then from the later on, you can save that into the source control and you can work with it by making some small changes into it.
Okay.
Yeah. Even developers do not write all these things from scratch. Okay. So like a file is empty and they're writing down with scratch. No, they use multiple options over here. Suppose they, if you open, suppose if you open Visual Studio and you want to create a project. So from the file, you will go, you will select a new project, what kind of project you want to build in. Suppose you want to build MVC project. So you select MVC project and all the files will be coming in about MVC project and all with all the constant.cs and program with like template kind of thing will be coming in and later on they develop accordingly. Okay. So no one writes from the scratch.
And one more question also, like in one of the interviews, like one of my friend was giving interview, so they have asked like print hello world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know from wherever you print hello world. So is this a DevOps engineer question? Because DevOps engineers to require code, right? They will convert, they will create a build, and then after that they will post.
See,
So if suppose this kind of
mostly they will be asking you for scripting. 100%. Scripting only. No one will ask you to write the code for Hello World in Java or .NET
yes,
as
yes,
a
yes,
DevOps engineer. They
yeah,
can ask that print Hello World using PowerShell or using shell script. That you can do.
yeah, that's so okay,
Yeah.
okay.
No one will ask you to write any code. Now in the source control here, if you select constant.cs, so it will show the working tree actually. This is a working tree. This means this is local Git and this is the file without Git. So what you have done, you have just added and saved the changes like my third change, but still it has not tracked by Git. So you can see a difference. So for example, whatever the files are there in the changes, if you click on that, it will show you the difference. Okay. Which file has been committed, which file is just not been committed or left over, or you need to commit it. Okay. So it will show the difference between the files. Okay. Between the stages of the files. Okay. So there are mainly when I was explaining earlier in the last class, what it was like, there are untracked files, there are tracked files, and then there are committed files. These three stages are there in the Git. Untracked files, tracked files, and committed files. Okay. So as of now, you made the changes. You made the changes. That means file is in the tracked. Means Git knows that some changes had been done. That's why this one is appearing over here in the source control. So changes are being made and saved, but still they have not committed. So that's why it is giving you this symbol. So this is a stage between a tracked file and a committed file. So file is tracked here, but still not committed. That is the difference between these two files.
Abhishek, I have a question.
Mhm.
Is there any option like even if you commit these changes,
Mhm.
two commits,
Mhm.
we can push only one?
Even if, come again.
Like we have made two changes now. You committed only one change, right?
Mhm.
Another change is in the final only. What if you commit this one as well? And I want to push only the change two. Like uh, I want to push this to the main repository or source repository.
Mhm.
Whatever the changes we have done
Mhm.
in the second file. So, do you have any options in the UI, like while pushing? Like if we can, we can commit only this. We can push only the commit one or two or three like that.
So that is what we have an option for state changes. So out
I
of
mean, stage changes is for only commit, right? Like we are just committing the stage.
Mhm.
And how about the pushing? Like if you want to push the stage one or two, uh, so how we can like? Is
Okay,
there any?
even in stage you want to push one or two.
Mm, yeah, yeah, like that. Yes.
But why you will push it to stage if you don't want to push the change? Leave it in the changes only.
Now, suppose like by mistakenly we committed
Uh-huh.
and we don't want that.
Then
Changes has been updated.
there is a minus symbol over there. You can, instead of plus, you can select minus over there. So as soon as I click on plus over here, it will move to stage and there will be a minus sign. If you don't want to push it, select that minus sign instead of plus.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So again, it will come back to changes. That is an option. Got it?
Yeah.
So let's complete this one as well. Okay. Third commit, then we'll see branches. Okay. Uh, there will be questioning here actually. So when I pushed the first change, if anyone remember, there was an option coming over here. Do you want to periodically run Git? Okay. And there was an option to fetch. There was an option to fetch. Now there is a question. What is the difference between a Git pull and a Git fetch? This is the question. You may note it down. Definitely, who will be questioning Git? This is the very, or like 95% asked question in the interviews. What is the difference between a Git pull and a Git fetch? So answer will be a Git pull. When you perform a Git pull, that pulls the whole remote repo into your local. That is a Git pull at once. When you run Git fetch, what is the difference left out? Difference means you already working. Now some third person has made changes and push it to the remote repo. But your repository is not in sync. Your repository is not in sync. So at that particular time, you have to run git fetch. So git fetch ensures whatever is the difference between the local repo and the remote repo, it will fetch those changes and it will make your repository in sync with the remote repository. That is the difference between a git pull and a git fetch. I've seen this question like 95 times out of 100 times. Everyone asks this. Okay, what is the difference between a git pull and a git fetch?
Yeah, for me also, many times, yeah. That's a common question, like interview question, I think.
Yes. Uh, let's go to branch. Okay. So now first we'll be creating a branch in your local repository, not in our remote repository. So generally when developers or anyone who want to make changes, they do not make changes directly into the main branch. So what they do, they work with feature branches. Suppose there is an e-commerce website and you are working on a payment feature like credit card or anything. Okay. So you will create a branch with the name feature branch. Okay. As a developer. And then you will push it to your local commit. And then you will push that branch to the remote. After pushing that branch, feature branch into the remote, it will go through pull request. Pull request means some reviewer will be there who will review the changes in the feature branch and he will accept to merge that. Okay. except to merge that pull request into the dev branch or stage branch or QA branch or production branch. So it is how they work. Okay. So we'll see how we can work with the branches as of now using the branching strategy. So is the source control here. And in the source control, if you see here, what is the branch as of now? It's the main branch. It's the main branch. And we have only single branch as of now. Either in main, either in origin. Okay. Origin is always remote. Origin is always considered remote. So as of now, we have a main branch here. Okay. So now select that branch. Select that branch. This So we'll select a main branch as the reference. You can see two options here, main branch and origin main. So you can see the difference in the symbol. So this is the local repository symbol. This is a local source control. And this is a cloud source control. So that's why the name you can see here, origin. Since cloud is the origin or remote branch is the origin, and this is the local main branch. So we have to create a branch in the local, but we need some base branch on which a new branch will be created. Okay. So we'll select this. Just coming 1 minute. Huh?
Check, I have one question.
Yes.
In real time, for product development, there is a separate branch, and for the staging, there is separate branch, and for production, there is separate branch, right? So
Yes. For every stage, there will be a different branch. Like,
we have to commit changes from one branch to another branch, right?
yes, yes. So go to palette again. So create branch from. So as soon as you select, you can select a reference branch. So suppose I'm selecting this branch. You can give a branch name here, any branch name. Suppose we give dev. Okay, dev. As soon as you press enter and you see here. So earlier it was the main branch. Now it is a dev branch. Okay. Now when we run the commands manually, so we run command like git branch, which like shows you which current branch you are in. Or if you want to change any branch, then the command is like git branch development, git branch stage, git branch QA. So it will switch to that particular branch. Okay. Here with the command palette only, you can choose the branch like we did. As of now, here is a dev. So if you want to create a new branch, again, you can open the command palette here and there's an option. If you only type git, you will be getting options over here. Like you type git and you get an option like key create branch from. So from which branch you have to create. So earlier I created this dev branch based on the main branch. So now dev branch is created here. Similarly, you can choose the dev branch. Based on that, you can create any feature branch. Okay, you can create a feature branch into that. And you can make changes into that feature branch. Like this, you can create here. Now you can see that the branch is created in our local source control. And there is an option like there is a cloud symbol and there is a push symbol over here. That means you can publish the branch into the remote. Now, as of now, if you see in the remote, we have only main, nothing else. Okay, we have only main. So if you want to push that dev branch into the main branch, you can simply publish. Or from here also, this is the option, publish. Publish means publishing the same branch into the remote, which you created in your local. So now if you change or select publish from here or either from here, so the branch will get published into the here. See, now you have dev branch. You have dev branch here. So there is a main branch which is the default branch, and now it is a dev branch. Select branches over here. So in the main tab, you can see there is a dev and there is a main branch. Okay. So if you see this dev branch here, now we have a dev branch in our local as well, and we have a dev branch in remote as well. But if we try to delete this branch from remote, if we try to delete this branch from remote, like delete, delete. So you can see that branch is being deleted, but still we have this dev branch in our local. The branch is deleted from remote, but still we have it in our local. Also, this Git maintains a copy. Okay, maintains a copy, or you can say it has a soft delete option. What is this soft delete option? The soft delete option says that if you search for dev now, what it is showing? Deleted branches dev just now. There is an option they are giving here, restore the branch. So this option you will get only in the remote repository. In the local repository, you will not get this restore option. So it is a kind of a soft delete option where for some time, till the dev branch is still maintained with your local, they will give you this option. So since now our dev branch is still maintained in our local, so that means they are giving this option here to restore the branch. So if you select and restore, the branch will be restored. From where? From your local repo. Since your repository is in sync with the local repo, it can fetch that dev branch from the local repo, and again it can restore it over here. But if you remove that from the local repo, then you will not get this option over here. So you can restore. Once you restore, again, you have restored this option. Now I'll go here. If I want to delete this dev branch now. So I'll go to command palette here from view, command palette. See, delete branch. What option you are getting as of now? Main. Why you are not getting an option for dev? Because already you have selected dev here. So what you need to do? You need to switch the branch first. Okay. So go to main branch. Now we have selected main over here. Now again, you can go to command palette here. Delete branch. Which branch you want to delete? Dev branch. Now, as soon as the dev branch is deleted here, view command palette again. Click on delete branch. Okay. Main. As soon as you click on branch over here, so you cannot see dev branch over here. Only main branch is remaining in the local. But since you restored the dev branch in the origin, that means remote, you can see a copy of remote over here. A copy of remote over here. So to remove that copy of remote over here, you need to run git prune. Okay. So there is a command called git prune. Another question, what is git prune rule used for? Okay. So git prune is used for whenever the branch is deleted from the local repo, but it is still there in the remote repo. And you can see the copy of that origin branch or copy of that origin repo, not repo, the branch into your local. To remove that, to clear that actually, okay, to clear that copy, we use git prune. Okay, that is another question. So you can go to terminal. First, what I'll do, I'll delete from here. Okay. Now I'll go here, view, command palette. Now I've run git prune over here. So now you can see origin dev is also removed now. Now there is no dev branch in the remote repo as well, nor there is a copy of remote dev branch into your local as well. Since you have run prune, prune means clear everything. Okay, any remote copies are there, clear it. So it has cleared. Now we have only two branches like main, which is local, and origin main. Okay. So whatever the local branch will be shown like this, whatever the remote branch will be shown like origin/main or origin/dev or origin/stage or origin/QA, like this. It will be shown in your local. So if the branch is not there, you push the feature branch into your remote repository and then your code is merged. And after merging the code, the feature branch is deleted from the remote repo. Then you can run a git prune in your local to remove the entry of that origin feature branch. Now we'll go to branching policies over here. Repos, branches. If you click on here, you can see branch policies. This is a very important section. Okay. So in the branch policies, you can see these policies over here. What does these policies say? First, require a minimum number of reviewers. That means whenever someone is trying to push the code, okay, so it should be first reviewed by someone. So to review the request of merging the code into the main branch, so there is an option called pull request. So the person who need to merge his code or her code into the main branch, he or she needs to create a pull request. That pull request will be reviewed by the reviewers. Pull request will be reviewed by the reviewers. And once it is approved by reviewers, the code will be merged into the main branch or whatever the desired branch you want to merge the code in. So it will be like this. Like suppose in the remote, this is your remote. This is your remote. And this is your local. This is your local. So in remote, what do you have? You have dev branch. Then you have suppose QA branch. Then you have stage branch. All have different purposes. Okay. All have different purposes. Then there is production branch. So dev branches generally when you are developing anything, okay, or anything is being developed. So developer confirms when the developer after like merging in the code, when the developer confirms that everything is okay, they have tested. So where the developers will test everything after creating it in the dev branch only, with the dev branch only. Okay. Now suppose there is a testing team involved. Testing team will also check the code. They will run the test cases, unit test cases, integration test cases, functional test cases. So they will be testing everything. Once they have tested, so what branch they use? So they use QA branch for all that purposes. Okay, they pull in the code from QA branch and they, like, if there are any issues, then again they will send to the dev branch, and again it will be, the developers will be working on dev branch, and once everything is fixed, they will push it to the QA branch. Again, the testers will test from the QA branch. Again, if they find something, they will ask the developers to make changes again. Okay, so this cycle will go on until and unless everything is to the point. Once everything is fine in the QA branch, the code will be pushed into the stage branch. Now, why is this stage branch? So before moving into the production, your client or the product owner, he will test everything, whether everything is running fine or not. So whatever is code will be there in the stage branch, that will be deployed into the stage environment. And the product owner will check everything is running fine or not. Once he approves, then the code will be merged from stage branch to the production branch. This is how it works in the remote. Now there can be other branches also in between. Okay. Depends. Depends. Okay. Now there is a local. What the developer will do? He will pull. So now when he's pulling the code, so now there are copies here, right? What copies? So he's pulling the code. So it's like origin dev, origin QA, origin stage, origin. Like this you will see, okay, in the local. This is one thing. Another thing is this local one, like simple dev QA stage production. Like you just saw when we were making changes. So now developer will not change directly into the main branch, okay? Or directly into the dev branch, he will not change. What he will do, based on the based on this dev, based on this dev, so he will create a feature branch. Whatever feature he's developing, he will create a feature branch based on the dev. What he'll do, he'll create a feature branch. Feature. So how, like feature slash, okay, whatever feature is developing, feature slash. Suppose credit card. Okay, in the payment module of e-commerce website, he wants to add credit card feature. So like this, he will create a credit feature branch, and then he will make changes in the code. Now this feature branch, this is a branch, okay, in the local. This feature branch, after everything is done in the feature branch, what he will do? He will publish the changes. After committing, he will publish the changes. Where he will publish? So he will publish into the remote. So when he will publish the changes in the remote, so in the remote also, a feature branch will be created when he publish the changes. So I'll write publish. Okay. Publish changes. So when he publish the changes, a feature branch will be created in remote as well. Feature and credit card. is the branch in remote repo side. So now to merge the code in the feature branch. Now, according to the developer, everything is being tested finally in the local, and he published the changes into the remote repo with a feature branch. Now this feature branch, now what he will do? As a part of the merge, he will create a pull request. Pull request. Why pull request? To merge the code. Now where he will merge. Now, look, developer has confirmed in his local, everything is working fine. And after reviewing the pull request, that whatever is done by the developer is perfectly fine. This will be approved and it will be merged into the dev branch. That means whenever a code is merged from feature branch to the dev branch, everything is completed from the developer side. Now there is nothing left. Everything is completed. So what they will do? Now they will create a pull request again to merge the same into the QA branch, so that testers can pull that code from the QA branch. So this whole environment is the developer's environment actually here. If you talk about the environment, the same environment QA or testers will be having in their local. Okay. So there will be testing team. Testing team will also be having their integrated development environment. Okay. So here also they will be pulling this, running some test cases, checking everything is fine or not in the local. And if there are some changes, then what they will do, they will raise some bugs in the Azure boards. Okay, right? Azure boards. That this has been left out or we are finding a bug over here. Again, what the developers will do? Again, they will they will pull the code, work on a feature branch, make the changes. Okay. And they will again push to dev. And from there, it is being pushed to QA. Again, they will test, everything is fine. Then the code is being, they will create, the testers will create a pull request to merge the code into the stage branch. And from the stage branch, it will be directly deployed into the staging environment, where the stakeholders or you can say, the product owner will check. And once it is like approved by the product owner that yes, everything is fine and we are finally set to release. Okay. So for release purpose, they will push again, create a pull request and they will push it to the production branch. So production branch is for release. There will be no testing, nothing in the production branch. Okay. Since everything is being tested in these three branches, so now directly in the production branch, it is set to release. Okay. This is how everything works. Any questions into this? No one? If anyone is speaking, you are in mute.
No, no question. I
Okay.
think this is the standard process every organization follows. Right?
Yes, this is the very very much standard process only. So now this is the branching policies. So first branching policy, you can see require a minimum number of reviewers. By default, it is off, but whenever you will be working, you will be checking this will always be on. Okay. Minimum number of reviewers you can set 1, 2, 3, 4 according to you. As of now, there is no one in my Azure DevOps organization I'm working like on my own. So I'll set it to 1. This will not be checked, okay? But I will check it right now, okay? Allow requesters to approve their own changes. By default, this will not be allowed, okay? No one will be allowed to approve their own changes, okay? So allow requesters to approve their own changes. There will be some or the other reviewer, even in the case of developers, even in the case of DevOps also. Suppose you made changes in some YAML file as a DevOps engineer. Then also some senior person might be there to review that, whether you have whatever changes you made in the YAML file are to the point, everything is correct or not. Okay. So as of now, since you will be working with this or you will be testing all these things, so you can check on this because you are single whole sole owner of your organization as of now. Okay. So you can allow. Okay. Allow requesters to approve their own changes. In general, this will not be happening with you. Okay. So another option, check for linked work items. So this is a required feature. Okay. This is a required feature. Now what it says, before merging the code, check for each and every work item linked to that branch or code, whether any work item is left out to complete. Okay. So check for any linked work items. Okay. Required means, optional means there will be a warning that there is a work item. Please check or please complete. Required means it will completely block the pull request without the linked work item being completed. Okay. So required, this will be a required option. Now, since these two policies are enabled, here. What all are other options here in the pull request? Prohibit the most recent pusher from approving their own changes. Allow completion even if some reviewer vote to wait or reject when changes are pushed. When new changes are pushed, always. Okay. So these are options over here. There are other two options. Check for comment resolution. That means if anyone has commented on the pull request, until and unless that comment is being resolved, the pull request will not be completed. So check for comment resolution, whether the earlier comment which has been done by the approver is resolved or not. Okay. And last option is merge type. I'll explain you what are the merge types later. Okay. So last option is merge type. And then comes the build validation. That also I'll explain in the next labs. Okay. Status checks automatically include the reviewers. Okay. Automatically included reviewers. Means if you have added some reviewers from this option, those will be automatically added to the reviewers panel. As of now, you can manually add the reviewers, okay, using this option. So
Abhishek,
manually add the reviewers, that does not mean that everyone can approve. Person with permissions to approve can only approve. So it's not like that you can add some of your colleague and ask them to approve. No. If that colleague is not having that level of access, he cannot approve. Okay. So most of the times the senior members or the managers, they will be having that kind of permission to approve. Okay. So even if you add anyone, it will show an option there that this person is not authorized to approve the pull request or something like that. So it's not like that you can add anyone if this is an option. Someone was asking something.
Yeah, I was asking about the section in the comment section.
Mm-hmm.
The approver, maybe the reviewer may review the changes, and
Mm-hmm.
if we commented on anything changes,
Mm-hmm.
like generally there will be options like resolve something.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like when we click the resolve option without making any changes, so still they can able to
You
push
will
ahead.
not be able to do that, na? Only the reviewer will be able to do that. Okay. So you cannot check like that into resolved. Okay.
Okay, so the option will be
So there will
enabled
actually,
after.
no, actually there will be an action linked to it. Until and unless that action is performed, it will not resolve.
Okay.
Suppose
So
the action linked to it is the pipeline should successfully run before merging in the code. So until and unless that pipeline will successfully run, the comment will not be resolved. So there is an action linked to that. So that is what comment resolution is for. Going forward, I'll show you that option as well. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we have set this branching policies over here. Let's test the branching policy now. Go to repos, go to source, go to web, go to program.cs. Add a comment over here. Click on edit. You can directly edit from the Azure DevOps also. Okay. It's not like that you have to do it in the local only. Okay? But this is not recommended. Okay. Testing main branch policy. What you have to do? Commit it. Okay. So click on commit. There are some comment over here. Where we are committing? Main branch. Okay. Click on commit. What error it gives? Pushes to this branch are not permitted. You must use a pull request to update this branch. Why we are getting is the error? Because we just enable the branching policies into the main branch. So in whichever particular branch you will enable the branching policies, that will give error accordingly. Okay. So we have to cancel this commit. Okay. We cannot perform this commit directly onto the main branch due to branching policies. Sorry. Now what you can do? Go to boards, work items. I'll create work item. I'll create a product backlog item here. First pull request. And I'll click on save. I'll again go back to repos. And now I'll create a branch over here. dev. Click on create. I'm into the dev branch. I'll again go to source code. I'll again go to web. I'll go to program.cs. Now make changes here. Edit it. Make changes. Testing my first pull request. Commit it. Now we are committing into the dev branch. There are no branch policies in the dev branch. Committed. This is the commit ID. What it says, create a pull request if you want to merge it. So create a pull request. Now this pull request from the dev branch, we are merging it to the main. There is one file in which we made changes and one commit is performed. Where? In the dev branch. This is source, this is destination. You can provide the title, what feature, whatever you are merging, you can provide the title so that whosoever the senior person or manager should understand what you are performing. You can give a description around that. Okay. Now you have to add the reviewers over here. Okay. So what I'll do, instead of mentioning anything, I'll create a pull request directly. What it says, one required check failed. What is that check? Work items must be linked. Since we enabled that into the main branch, the pull request cannot be completed due to that. Okay, just a second. So one required check failed, at least one reviewer must approve. So these are the two checks which are required actually. So what you can do here, you can, where is the work item? Click. What was the work item? Testing my first PR. This was the work item. Add it. So required check is succeeded. Second, one reviewer must approve. So assign people. So I'll assign myself as a reviewer. Okay. Now reviewer is there. Now it is pending from reviewer's end. Okay. So reviewer will, there are options. Approve, approve with suggestions, wait for the author, or reject. Okay. So approve or approve with suggestions. Then you might give some suggestions. Okay. Wait for the author means you can set it for the time being. Wait for the author. Author means anyone who is adding, or you can say the main person who is working on this, where you need to merge into the main branch. Okay. He's the author of everything in the main branch. Okay. So wait for it. He will check or reject. Suppose I click on approve. So this is approved now. So now all the checks, required checks are being done. You can add any comment over here, like approved or anything. Approved for main branch. Like this. You can add a comment. Complete. Okay. Now, when you click on complete, make as draft or abandon. Complete means completed. Merge request will be completed. Make as draft means keep as a draft. Okay, later on you can complete. And abandon means delete this pull request. Click on complete. Now you can see the merge types actually. So merge, no fast forward, squash commit, rebase, fast forward, semi-linear merge. And like, please make a screenshot of this. Next class, please come in with like study something about merge, squash commit, rebase, and semi-linear merge. Then we'll discuss in the next class. Okay, what these four options are all about. Okay, everyone made a screenshot of this.
Yeah, done.
Okay, okay, just read about all these types. Okay, I'll perform a merge, no fast forward. Okay, after this, the dev branch will be deleted. If you want to delete, generally we do this option, we get this option for feature branches generally. So when we are merging with the feature branch, after that feature branch is deleted. Okay, so delete dev after merging. Complete merge. Merging the pull request. Okay. So pull request is being completed now. Okay. Now if you go back to repos, main branch, source. Now with a pull request with all those approvals and all, the code is being merged to the program.cs file. Testing my first PM. Come back to pull request, completed one, open it. Okay. This is the pull request. There are some more options we will be discussing into this. Okay. Cherry pick, revert. Okay. All those options. If you see files, what are the changes being made, that will show a plus. If anything is deleted, that will show, or changes has been moved to remove the changes, that will show as a minus. Okay. Updates, commits. This was the commit for this. So this is pull request. Lab is still left out. Okay, some parts to cover. So tags are left. Okay. Or should I complete that as well? Okay, let's see. Just 5 minutes. Okay. So now there is one more option in the repos. Please make sure you learn about those four things. Okay. We'll discuss next class. So after branches and branching policies, there are tags here. Tags. What are these tags about? So actually, suppose the product team decided that they will be releasing the next version. Okay, there is a current version of the website of the site, and it should be released anew as a new, like some alpha feature, beta feature, or anything. Okay. So I'll create a tag over here. Okay. There are no major changes. Nothing has been pushed to the production branch. Okay. So we'll just create a tag based on the production branch. Okay. So suppose the name is V 1.1.0 hyphen beta. Suppose this is a beta version. Based on the main branch. Okay. In the description, we can select beta release. This is a kind of beta release. Beta release. V 1.1.0, something like this. And we'll create it. So what we did, we tagged a repository. Okay, we tagged a repository for this release. And we can use the tag also to perform a build and to deploy that into the as a new version or as a new release. Okay. So this tag, this is how you can create tags. I'll stop here.